Hey guys, how are you doing? It's Cryptoinsightuk here, bringing you back another YouTube video. So just before we get into this one today, I just want to let you know that I'm going to have a few days off. So tomorrow and the next day, I'm going to be a bit less active than I have been. I was going to have some days off this weekend. My sister's come to Bali to visit me, and I've actually had Bali belly, so I've been really ill, like sickness and diarrhea, so that's always fun. Nice way to introduce a YouTube video. But let me just get into this YouTube. There's a lot going on. I just want to get through some of the headlines, some of the stuff that's happening, and then let you know, like some of the trades we've been getting on as well. And those of you who've been following my QNT trade, we'll get into that as well. So first, I want to touch on this. The G20 is coming to Bali, and it's coming in 28 days. And I think it's the 14th and the 15th of November. They're looking at digital transformation, sustainable energy. They're the two things that I've really got my eye on here. Digital transformation, obviously. The blockchain is going to be high up in their priorities, and then obviously after that, following the 16th and 17th, is actually when we have SWELL in London, which is Ripple's SWELL event. So it's very interesting timing that G20 are over here in Bali, Indonesia. That's obviously why I'm here, because I'm obviously going to go to the G20 event. Joke, but just something that I really wanted to touch on to start with. Next, we've got absolute issues in the UK, obviously. I've gone so into detail on this in my newsletters about the Bank of England, about the gilts, about the pension funds. It's just not looking good, Bev. And the UK Finance Minister, Kwasi Kwarteng, has been fired. We've got a whole new finance team, essentially, that have come through. This was like a few days ago. A whole new finance team basically come through in the UK, and there's pressure on Liz Truss as Prime Minister. But essentially, the damage was done before she got there. She's made a couple of bad policy decisions, but like they've been massively overreacted to. It shows how weak the sentiment is in the market. And look, I don't agree with what she's doing, but I also think there's not a lot of choice, and the market are just absolutely ruining like everything that anyone does because everyone's so scared. So buckle up if you're in the UK. I don't want to make any financial suggestions here, but maybe some dollars, maybe some gold, and definitely some crypto. If you're young and watching this and you're not holding crypto, like, I don't know what you're looking at in terms of finance, because what else is giving you this sort of risk to reward, and everything else is looking like it's coming down, tumbling anyway. So definitely have some position in cash, definitely have some protection from the pound, and the upside on crypto just outweighs any other asset in my opinion. But it's just my opinion, and we'll see how things play out. This is also quite a funny tweet here from Covey, made me laugh. He said, IMO, Rishi Sunak should simply print twice the supply of the GDP, use 100 billion to buy 100 billion pounds worth of Bitcoin. Yes, the Great British Pound will be heavily inflated, but now it's 50% backed by Bitcoin. As Bitcoin rises, the Great British Pound is eventually 100% backed by Bitcoin. Thanks, I have an economics PhD. To be honest, we're inflating away anyway. Why not? I'd YOLO a chance on that. Like, and I'm not even completely joking right now. So that's the worst thing about it. It's like, I don't know. It actually makes me feel a bit weird looking at the financial situation in the UK. This is another thing. China will delay its release of Q3 economic indicators, including GDP, which again is like a little bit scary. Like, what are they hiding there? Why are they delaying that? Who knows? Just something to keep your eye on, guys. And this is something else that I've talked about. This is the choices that our central banks are facing at the minute: inflation or economic implosion. And that is a really difficult choice. Obviously, the general consumer, retail investor is looking at inflation. It's the massive factor, and they're like, oh, we don't care about the stock market and equities. What they don't understand is how leveraged all these banks are within the stock market. And we're seeing it in the UK start to unravel some of this leverage, and it could be people's pension funds going to zero, and like everyone's out here like, oh, things are getting more expensive and money's not going as far, and it's not, and it's all really horrific. Like, the energy price is horrific, inflation is really bad, like 10%. It's the most I've seen in my lifetime since I've been interested in finance. The most I've seemed to understand at all. In the last 12 to 15 years, like since I've been economically aware, we've had like no inflation or very little inflation. Interest rates have been super low. So everyone's been borrowing, and now inflation's super high, and everyone's over leveraged, and it's just really scary to see what could happen. The working person, who's been a good citizen for their whole life, could lose everything because everyone's got greedy, and people are screaming so hard to get inflation down that the banks are like trying to listen to the general public, and by doing that, they could blow up the whole world's economic infrastructure. In all honesty, like it's a scary time. Can you protect yourself? Honestly, gold, crypto, some cash like dollars. But I think the dollar will turn over at some point. When it does, who knows? But it will, because it looks to me like it's topping out. And I've talked about that in my weekly newsletter. I don't think it's quite ready yet, but who knows? One big flip could happen at any point and then everything changes. So it's a really uncertain time. So have yourself hedged is what I'm basically saying. And this is a very interesting story to come out of South Korea today. South Korea aims to boost economy with digital ID on the blockchain. Government to allow smartphones to replace existing ID cards. Korea sees economic value of digital IDs around 3% of GDP. Digital IDs come in for everyone, guys. Like, I know some people don't like it and people say, oh, they don't want the control, etc. We're already massively controlled, guys. You try and move a few £100s around even in the UK and you're probably getting stopped by the bank or asked why you're doing that. You probably have a daily transfer limit of about £250 on a normal account, so we're already massively controlled. This isn't going to change anything. In fact, it's probably just going to make things easier for everyone. There's going to be less hatred. You'll probably be able to move things around faster. It's going to make taxes, all this sort of thing, a lot more easy. And that's what everyone wants. Everyone wants fast and everyone wants cheap. So that's what they're going to do with digital ID. And CBDCs, they're coming, whether you like them or not. It's best to prepare than try and fight them, because even like Bitcoin maximalists, they say, oh yeah, buy some Bitcoin, protect yourself from the financial system. And it's like, well, yeah, okay, so you're already accepting that CBDCs are coming through and you're trying to bet against them. Why not just try and bet with them and make some profit and spend that profit on what you want to spend it on? I understand the argument for Bitcoin too, and I'll probably have both, but I'm just saying, like, it's just sensible to have both, surely. A big story this week that I didn't manage to touch on, what was actually last week, about a week ago now. Ripple continues European expansion, bringing benefits of on-demand liquidity to France and Sweden. I did talk about this in the weekly roundup podcast, but Lemonway is a Paris-based online payments provider, and they're actually leveraging ODL for their treasury payments, which I think is super interesting that companies are starting to do this. It's going to unlock capital that companies have got locked up just sitting in their treasury. It's an amazing feature for ODL. When it starts to get leveraged by bigger companies, you're going to see huge value increase on the XRP ledger as people understand that the network is becoming more and more expensive and valuable. XBAT is also a company that's moving payments between Sweden and Thailand through Tranglo. So again, another payment rail there. And imagine every single time a payment rail gets added to this already growing network, the network just gets so much more valuable. We think about Metcalfe's law. Add an extra payment rail into something that's 20, it's actually times it by the power of 20 or whatever. So it's an amazing thing, and the more it grows, the more volume comes to the network. The more volume comes to the network, the more valuable it becomes, and more value comes on there. In turn, the oil that runs the network, which is the asset of XRP, should increase in value over time with actual utility rather than just speculation. But that's just my opinion. Finally, I wrote this thread about Flare Networks. If you guys want to go and check that out over on Twitter, there's a huge opportunity here for Flare Networks. If you don't already follow me on Twitter, go and drop me a follow there. I wrote this thread, and essentially anything you buy now could be rewarded at 6.6 times whatever you buy now. So it's a big opportunity. Go and check it out. See if you think I'm right, and I'm pretty sure I am. But yeah, go and check that out. Anyway, finally, two things I want to just literally bring your attention to. One is the fact that I did post that QNT trade that I got into at like 1:30 the other week. I posted it on Twitter. I was in at like 1:32, I think. I did cash that out at 180, somewhere around here. Cashed out at like 180 for a decent profit. Obviously, it's pushed on today towards 218. Brilliant for anyone who's holding QNT. I actually took my first profit at 158, took one at 172, and finished it off at 180. So anyone who's been following that trade, I'm completely out of that trade now. I actually did take a small trade on with 0x this morning. I've seen that it's quite a liquid as a pairing, and I saw it spike up to this 22 cent mark a few times. So I put a little purchase order in at about 19 cent with a little sell order in here about 22 cent, looking to take that 10% swing in the day. If we do get a wick up there, we'll see, and that would be a nice little payout. Obviously, I also took a small position in Algorand with some of the profits that I took from QNT. It looks like it's about to break out as well. Obviously, it's hugely dependent on what Bitcoin does and what Ethereum does, and the market in general, what the DXY is saying. The DXY looks like it could be coming down, but I don't want to put too much pressure on that right now. But yeah, that's all my trades at the minute, guys. I'm going to be less active this week, unfortunately. I'll try and make videos as and when I can. But if you guys enjoyed the content, as always, please hit that subscribe button, share it with a friend, and drop me a comment of anything you'd like me to touch on in the future. I'll have some more content coming obviously later this week, and yeah, I'll do what I can to stay updated with you guys. And having a few days off, as I said, I need a bit of a rest, and I've been ill, and my sister's here, so we're going to enjoy some time in Bali. Hope everyone is doing super well. I appreciate you watching the video. Peace up, A-Town down, as I should say.